Welcome back to American Agenda. As the 2024 presidential race unfolds, officially starting today with the Iowa Caucus, the spotlight turns to the pivotal role of evangelical Christian voters, especially in Iowa.
That's right. Big players out there. Okay, the evangelical Christians known for their impact on social and moral issues, oftentimes becoming a decisive voting bloc capable of influencing candidate policies and election outcomes.
That's right. Former President Trump, for example, won 84% of their vote in 2020, and he's counting on their support going into this election year with today's Iowa caucus.
That's right. Our panel to discuss, our experts are evangelical leader and president and CEO of the Family Leader, Bob Vander, along with the Christian voter, Craig Huey. Bob, I'm going to start with you here and get to some headlines. This one of you saying you're going to remain a friend to former President Trump even after endorsing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. So let me ask you, what led you to DeSantis, and how are you going to try and remain, we'll say, on good terms with the former president there?
Well, the proverbs say you can trust the wounds of a friend. And being a friend of Trump is saying that you'll pray for him, you'll cheer him on, and you'll be a voice of accountability and reason when needed. And I think right now, I just believe Governor DeSantis is the guy who can win, who can lead on day one, and who can lead for 2 terms. And I just think that's in the best interest of our country. I think it's in the best interest of our party. And I just think that the former president presents our highest hurdle of winning in 2024. So if you believe, like I do, this is the most important election of our lifetime, I believe we need to find somebody who can win. I believe it's Ron DeSantis.
Craig, which candidate do you believe has the most promise for evangelical voters' concerns?
Well, the evangelical voters for Iowa and all the states is the most powerful voting bloc there is. And so every one of these candidates want the evangelical vote. They have teams for it. So Trump obviously wants it, and DeSantis has also really carved this out. And DeSantis has appeared before many large Christian groups nationally and, of course, in the state of Iowa. So I would say that either of those two know the language to speak to really rally the evangelical vote. And many evangelicals are upset with President Trump for some of his policies when he was president and some of his statements lately. So he's seen a defection. And so he has really tried hard to be able to compensate for that. So we're going to see what happens in Iowa. But nationwide, the evangelical vote is the key to winning this election in 2024.
Bob, what are the biggest issues concerning evangelicals right now in the country? I know there's a lot. I know just kind of broadly, the woke agenda is something you're majorly concerned about and everything that comes along with it here. So can you talk about that?
Well, yeah, I think it's where Governor DeSantis, again, has the upper hand. He took on the woke agenda in the schools in Florida, as well as in big corporations like Disney. But he also stood up for parental rights by giving Floridians school choice. He took on Dr. Fauci, held him accountable with COVID, and keeping the churches open as well as the beaches open and businesses open during COVID. So there's a lot of things that Governor DeSantis has done that we have definitely applauded. But I think the biggest thing here is that, if Trump gets to be the nominee, I believe it's going to be a referendum on Trump. And my fear is too much of the country has made up its mind on Trump. But if DeSantis gets to be the nominee, I believe it's a referendum on Biden. And then you cast the vision for the future of DeSantis. I think it gives us the best opportunity to win. And I believe for evangelicals, I think they all would agree, we need to win in 2024.
Craig, what are you hearing from fellow evangelicals? What are, similar to Bob's question, what are the top 2 biggest issues that evangelicals in your community are concerned about?
Well, there's evangelicals that are aware of policy. And those evangelicals, it's religious liberty and it's the abortion issue. There are 2 of the key drivers. Then there's the lower information evangelicals who aren't really following politics too much. They're the ones that have the largest commitment to staying with Trump as they did back in the last election. And so you kind of have a division. But the issues that are really the hottest is that the evangelicals feel that there's a war on Christianity going on today with policies out of the Biden administration, and they know it has to be stopped. and so either DeSantis or Trump recognize that issue, and they've been talking about it.
Bob, you have a lot of sway out there. I'll say that. It's a tremendous effort you put forth here. Can you give us a prediction of any kind, after the caucuses are done here?
Well, I think when I take a look at it, I don't think Donald Trump's going to meet the expectations set out for him to be in the 50-55 percentile. I don't think Nikki Haley's going to take second, so I don't think she meets her expectations. But I think Governor DeSantis is going to have a really good night. He's got the best organization I've seen by far. So I think he'll outkick his expectations. And I'm bullish enough to think, be positioned, he might actually win this thing tonight.
Wow.
He's confident.
Yes.
He says there's a lot of enthusiasm at his
right.
events out there, and we know the caucus is here in about 4 hours. Bob Vander, sir. Craig Huey, sir, we thank you both for coming on.
Thank you. God bless.